Welcome to Invest Ed.
Welcome sa InvestEd. So yung company na i-analyze natin at re-reviewin natin ay ang company na JGS Summit Holdings Incorporated. So sa pag-review at pag-analyze ng stocks, magkakaroon tayo ng idea kung anong meron sa company, ano ba yung strength and weaknesses ng company, maganda ba yung pamamalakad ng management, and kaya bang sustain ng company yung kanilang utang. Sa pag-review at pag-analyze ng stocks, malalaman natin yung intrinsic value ng company. And most importantly, dapat naiintindihan natin yung company na gusto nating pasukan. Kasi sabi nga ni Warren Buffett, you have to stay to your circle of competence. Okay, so lahat-lahat ng yan, ipagsasama-sama natin sa isang video para makabuo tayo ng matibay na konklusyon at matibay na pundasyon sa pag-i-invest natin sa stock market. So kung ready na kayo, let's start and see you on the other side. Welcome guys sa channel natin. So dito, binabahagi ko yung 7 years of experience ko sa pag-trade ng stocks and Forex and also sa pag-invest ko sa stock market. So kung hindi pa kayo nakaka-subscribe, so please subscribe and hit the notification bell para updated kayo sa mga videos na parating at marami pa kayong matutunan sa channel na ito. Maraming salamat!
JGS Summit Holdings, Incorporated engages in consumer foods, agro-industrial and commodity food products, real property development, hotels, banking and financial services, telecommunications, petrochemicals, air transportation, and power distribution businesses. The company's foods, agro-industrial and commodities segment is involved in the manufacture of snack foods, granulated and pre-mixed coffee, chocolates, candies, biscuits, instant noodles, ice cream and frozen novelties, pasta and tomato-based products, and canned beans, raising hogs and chickens, manufacture and distribution of animal feeds, corn products, and vegetable oils, synthesis of veterinary compounds, sugar milling and refining, and flour milling. Its air transportation segment offers passenger and cargo air transport services. The company's real estate and hotels segment owns, develops, leases, and manages shopping malls and retail developments, owns and operates hotels in the Philippines, develops, sells, and leases office condominium space in office buildings and high-rise residential condominiums, develops land into residential subdivisions, sells subdivision lots and residential houses, and provides customer financing. Its petrochemicals segment manufactures and sells polyethylene and polypropylene, polymer-grade ethylene and propylene, partially hydrogenated pyrolysis gasoline, and pyrolysis fuel oil. The company's banking segment offers commercial banking services, such as deposit taking, lending, foreign exchange dealing, and fund transfers or remittance servicing. Its other supplementary businesses segment provides asset management, insurance brokering, foreign exchange, and securities dealing services. The company operates in the Philippines, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, China, Hong Kong, Singapore, Vietnam, Myanmar, New Zealand, and Australia. JGS Summit Holdings, Incorporated was founded in 1957 and is headquartered in Pasig City, the Philippines.
Welcome sa market performance ni JGS. No? Nakikita natin dito, in 7 days return, okay, meron siyang return na positive 1.2% and the Philippine industries na kinabibilangan niya up by 0.4% and the Philippine market down by 0.02%. And comparing to the 1-year return, okay, 1-year return with company versus industries, nakikita natin dito na company exceeds the Philippine industry which returned a negative 21% over the past year. And comparing to the market, the company exceeds the Philippine market which returned a negative 24% over the past year. Okay, this is the price to earnings ratio of a company. Comparing to industries, poor value based on its PE ratio compared to the Philippine industries na merong average na 10.7 while the company ay merong 34.7. Compared to the market, company is a poor value based on its PE ratio compared to the Philippine market na merong 13% or 13 PE ratio and the company merong 34.7. And in terms of price to earnings growth ratio of a company, nakikita natin dito na meron 0.7. So, in terms of price to book ratio alone, company is a good value based on its PEG ratio na merong 0.7. So, bakit na rin nasabi na good value siya? Because ang gusto natin makita kapag nag-analyze tayo ng stocks, no, ay nasa 1 pababa lang yung kanyang price to earnings growth ratio or PEG ratio. So which in this nakikita natin sa 0.7. So anong ibig sabihin nitong 0.7 or 1 pababa lang yung price to earnings growth ratio. So ang ibig sabihin nun, it is considered a undervalue in terms of PEG ratio alone. So in terms of price to book ratio of a company versus the industries, the company is overvalued based on its price to book ratio na merong 1.5 compared to the Philippine industries na merong average na 0.8. Okay, so nakikita natin na overvalue siya in terms of price to book ratio alone. Market ay merong 1. So nakikita din natin na overvalue din siya in terms of price to book ratio. And in terms of future growth of the company, based sa 7 analysts na nahanap natin, yung kanilang forecast annual earnings in 1 to 3 years ay merong forecasted annual earnings growth na 51.2%. So nakikita natin na medyo na mataas yung kanilang forecasted net income in 1 to 3 years time. And comparing to analyst future growth forecast, nakikita natin dito sa forecast annual earnings growth ng mga analyst, no, meron yung company na 51.2% forecasted, and the industry's average ay meron 35.8%, the market ay meron 28.4%. So nakikita natin na talaga na overpower niya or na-exceedan niya yung mga industries na nabanggit natin. And comparing to the forecast annual revenue, nakikita natin dito na meron siyang 13.2 forecasted revenue growth, and the industry's average ay merong 11.2% and the market ay merong 12.2%. Okay, so in terms of earnings versus savings rate, nasa green flag tayo sa kanya because the company forecast earnings growth is above the savings rate of the Philippines na merong 5.1%. No? So mga hindi nakakalam kung ano yung savings rate, ito yung rate of band ng Pilipinas. No? Gusto lang natin gusto natin i-compare yung quality ng earnings forecasted doon sa rate of band ng Pilipinas. Okay? So in terms of earnings versus market, nasa green flag din tayo sa kanya also because the company earnings are forecast to grow faster than the Philippine market na merong 28.2% per year. And in terms of high growth earnings, nasa green flag din tayo sa kanya because earnings are expected to grow significantly over the next 3 years. Okay? And in terms of revenue versus market, nasa green flag din tayo sa kanya also because the company revenue is forecast to grow faster than the Philippine market na mayroong 12.2% per year, while the revenue of the company ay nasa 13.2% forecasted per year. In terms of high growth revenue, no, nasa red flag tayo sa kanya because the company revenue ay mayroong 13.2% per year is forecast to grow slower than 20% per year. Pag nakikita natin, no, yung forecasted revenue nasa 20% pataas, it is considered a high growth revenue. And this is the future return on equity ng company, no. So nakikita natin dito comparing to the industries, no, company future return on equity in 3 years forecasted ay merong 7.5% and the industries na kinabibilangan niya ay merong 8.4% forecasted. So nakikita natin, no, na taas pa rin yung industries average compared sa kanyang future ROE. So medyo red flag tayo sa kanya, no, sa ganyan tong sitwasyon. So ano yung ibig sabihin ng future o ng return on equity? So ang ibig sabihin nitong ROE kung gaano kagaling yung management to handle other people's money. And yung ROE, ito yung basehan natin, no, kung gaano kagaling yung effectiveness ng management. In terms of future ROE, the company return on equity is forecast to be low in 3 years time, na merong 7.5%. Okay, this is the past performance of the company over the past 5 years. So historically, annual earnings growth, meron silang 4.2%. Okay, and this is the earnings and revenue history ng company, no. From December 31, 2013, meron silang revenue na 150.34 billion pesos per year, earnings na 10.4 billion pesos per year, and profit margin na 6.9 profit margin. And fast forward to June 30, 2020, meron silang revenue na 259.9 billion pesos per year, earnings na 13.15 billion pesos per year, and na profit margin na 5.1%. Okay, so in terms of earnings, quality of earnings, nasa green flag tayo sa kanya because the company has a high quality of earnings. So sa mga nabanggit natin kanina, no? In terms of growing profit margin, nasa red flag tayo sa kanya because the company current net profit margin ay mayroong 5.1% are lower than last year na mayroong 8.7%. The return on equity ngayon ng company, no, nakikita natin dito, comparing to the industries, merong 8.4 ang industries and the company ay merong 4.8. No? So nakikita natin na mas mataas pa rin talaga yung average industries ROE compared to the company. And in terms of high ROE natin kay JGS or sa company na to, no, nasa red flag tayo sa kanya because the company return on equity ay merong 4.8% is considered low. Kasi gusto natin makita, 10% is considered a good value of return on equity. Pag high ROE, nasa 10-20% ang kanyang return on equity. In terms of return on asset ng company, nakikita natin dito na meron ng company na 2.2% ROA or return on assets while the industries na kinabibilangan na company ay nasa 3.6%. Nakikita natin na in terms of management level, return on assets, mas mataas pa rin yung industries. So, yung meaning nitong return on assets, no, sa mga hindi pa nakakalam, ito yung kita ng company compare sa kanyang mga ari-arian. And in terms of return on capital employed, nakikita natin last year meron silang 4.6% and 3 years ago meron silang 9.7%. So, nakikita natin na dumidecline yung kanilang return on capital employed. In terms of financial health ng company, nakikita natin dito sa short-term asset, meron silang 247.58 billion pesos short-term assets. So yung meaning nitong short-term assets, no, ito yung assets ng company na kaya niyang i-convert into cash within a year or i-liquidate ng company within a year. And ito namang liabilities na mayroong 255.28 billion pesos, ito naman yung obligations na company within a year. And in terms of long-term assets, meron silang 700 billion pesos long-term asset. Man yung assets na company na kaya niyang i-convert or i-liquidate into cash more than a year. And this is the obligations na company more than a year also. So in terms of short-term liabilities, nasa red flag tayo sa kanya because the company's short-term assets do not cover its short-term liabilities na mayroong 255 billion pesos short-term liabilities while the short-term assets ay nasa 247.58. And in terms of long-term liabilities, nasa red flag din tayo sa kanya because the company short-term assets do not cover its long-term liabilities. Okay, and this is the debt to equity history ng company. No? Nakikita natin dito, in December 31, 2013, meron siyang debt to equity ratio na 52%. Forward to June 30, 2020, meron siyang debt to equity ratio na 71.9%. So, sobrang taas na kanyang debt to equity ratio, no? So, gusto kasi natin makita kapag nag-analyze tayo ng stocks, yung debt to equity ratio ay nasa 40% pababa lang. So, it is considered a low debt, no? Pero nakikita natin dito nasa 71.9% yung kanyang debt to equity ratio ngayon. So, anong ibig sabihin nitong debt to equity ratio para mas lalo nating maintindihan ito, no? So, yung meaning nito, in every 1 peso na ginagamit ng company sa kanyang operation, 71.9% nun ay financed by utang. So, sobrang laki, no? 71.9%. So, in terms of debt level, nasa red flag tayo sa kanya because the company debt to equity ratio is 71.9% is considered high. Yun nga, so katulad ng sinabi natin, no? Gusto natin makita sa debt to equity ratio, 40% pababa lang. In terms of reducing of debt, nasa red flag din tayo sa kanya because the company debt to equity ratio has increased from 65.3% to 71.9% over the past 5 years. In terms of debt coverage, nasa red flag tayo sa kanya because the company debt is not well covered by operating cash flow na merong 7%. In terms of interest coverage, nasa red flag din tayo sa kanya because interest payment on its debt are well not covered by EBIT na meron lang 3.9% coverage. 3.9 times coverage. And this is the balance sheet snapshot of a company. And this is the dividend yield of a company. Nakikita natin dito, meron siyang current dividend yield na 0.60%. Okay, and this is the stability growth payments of company. Nakikita natin dito in June 29, 2010, meron siyang dividend yield na 0.2% per year. Dividend per share na sa 0.05 dividend per share. And fast forward to October 9, 2020, meron siyang dividend yield na 0.6% and dividend per share na 0.38 pesos dividend per share. Okay, so in terms of stable dividend, nasa red flag tayo sa kanya because the company is not paying a notable dividend for the Philippine market. Therefore, no need to check if payments are stable. Okay? And in terms of growing dividend sa company, nasa red flag din tayo sa kanya because company is not paying a notable dividend for the Philippine market. Therefore, no need to check also if the payment are increasing. Current payout to shareholders na company, nakikita natin ito yung kanyang payout ratio ay nasa 21%. So meaning nito, 21% na kanyang earnings ay binibigay nila sa dividendo. Okay, so in terms of dividend coverage, nakikita natin na nasa red flag tayo sa kanya because company is not paying a notable dividend for the Philippine market. So katulad na nasabi natin sa taas, leadership team of a company, nakikita natin dito yung kanilang president ngayon na si Lance Gokongwei. Meron tenure sa company na 2.42 years and ownership sa company na 7.56% and nagkakahalaga ng 34.6 billion pesos. And this is the rest of leadership team na company. And in terms of experience management, nasa green flag tayo sa kanya because company management team is considered experienced na mayroong 3 years average tenure and average age na sa 53 years old. And this is the board member of the company. And in terms of experience board, nasa green flag tayo sa kanya also because the company board of director are seasoned and experienced na mayroong 16.2 years average tenure and average age na sa 66.5 years old. So ipangunahing tungkulin nitong board of directors na ipangalagaan yung kapakanan ng mga shareholders ng company. Okay, and this is the ownership breakdown ng company. Nakikita natin dito 36.1% owned by general public, 27.9% owned by company-controlled foundation, 18.2% owned by private companies, 14.1% owned by individual insider, and 3.8% owned by institution. So in terms of dilution of shares, nasa green flag tayo sa kanya because shareholders have not been meaningfully diluted in the past year. So meaning nitong diluted shares or dilution of shares, kapag nag-i-issue or nag-raise ng shares yung company, bumababa yung ownership percentage ng mga shareholders ng company. And this is the top shareholders na company na nakikita natin dito, 27.88% owned by Gokongwei Brothers Foundation Incorporated na mayroong 127.4 billion pesos current value. And this is the rest of top shareholders na company. And this is the number of employees na company. Nakikita natin dito in December 31, 2019, meron silang empleyado na 26,200 employees. So napakarami din na kanilang empleyado. Okay? Okay, so alam na natin kung ano meron sa company and alam na natin kung ano meron sa financial position ng company na to na ina-analyze natin. So ngayon, dadako na tayo sa intrinsic value ng company. Para mahanap yun, kailangan muna natin ng forecasted net income ng company for 2020. Kaya nahanap natin na forecasted net income ng company for 2020 ay nasa 11.7 billion pesos net income. Yung susunod ay nasa 7.0 billion pesos net income forecasted in 2020 based sa 7 analysts. Also, in 2020, meron din silang 7.08 billion pesos net income. Kung kukunin natin na pinakamababa na forecasted net income ay ito sa 7.08 kasi gusto natin maging conservative tayo sa makukuha nating forecasted net income ng company, and gusto natin maging conservative din tayo also sa makukuha nating intrinsic value ng company. So, alam na natin kung ano yung forecasted net income ng company. Ang susunod natin kukunin ay ang PE ratio ng company for the past 5 years. Welcome sa BPI Trade. Nakikita natin dito yung kanyang PE ratio ay nasa for the past 5 years. Nakikita naman natin yan. Kasi average lang muna natin itong PE ratio ng company for the past 5 years. Okay, yung average PE ratio ng company for the past 5 years ay nasa 24.91. So alam na natin yung net income forecasted ng company, and alam na natin yung average PE ratio ng company for the past 5 years. So ang gagawin natin, ipagka-times natin itong dalawang nakuha natin para makuha ang future market capitalization ng company. Okay, so yung nakuha natin na future market cap ng company ay nasa 176.4 billion pesos market cap. Okay, so alam na natin yung future market capitalization ng company. And ngayon, kukunin naman natin dito yung current market cap ng company. Kung titignan natin dito, yung kanyang current market cap ay nasa 449.8 billion pesos market cap. So ang gagawin natin, i-divide natin tong ating current market cap doon sa ating future market capitalization na nakuha. Nakuha na natin yung sagot. So ang gagawin natin, i-divide natin tong current price ni J Summit sa ating nakuha sagot para makuha yung intrinsic value ngayon ng company. Okay, yung ating intrinsic value ngayon kay JG Summit ay nasa 24.63. So nakikita natin nasa 62.80 na yung ang current price. So above na siya doon sa ating intrinsic value. And magkakaroon tayo ng margin of safety nito sa kanya, So kailangan lang natin siyang i-times sa 0.80 para makuha yung 20 margin of safety natin sa kanya, which is nasa 19.70. Yung summary na pag-aaral natin sa intrinsic value ni JGS Summit Holdings Incorporated. Okay? Yung ating nakuhang intrinsic value sa kanya ay nasa 24.63 and margin of safety natin nasa 19.70. So, kapag yung current price pumunta sa margin of safety or below margin of safety, it is considered a buy ratings alone. And now, nang times na ina-analyze natin tong company, nasa 62.80 yung kanyang current price. So, mas sobrang taas yan na doon sa ating intrinsic value, So, meron tayong position sa kanya na hold position tayo in terms of intrinsic value alone. O, so yung summary na pag-aaral natin sa company, yung nakita nating red zone, debt is not well covered by operating cash flow, and also profit margin are lower than last year na merong 8.7% and now mayroon silang profit margin na 5.1% na lang. And yung nakita naman natin green zone sa kanya, the company is currently profitable. Earnings are forecast to grow by an average of 51.2% per year for the next 3 years. And dividend is too low to be concerned. Share price has been stable over the past 3 months. The company earnings are high quality. They have sufficient analyst coverage. No concerning event detected. Shareholders have not been meaningfully diluted in past year or recently. And revenue is meaningful. Market cap is meaningful. Kasi sa pagre-review at pag-analyze ng stocks, magkakaroon tayo ng idea kung ano yung strength and weaknesses ng company. And also, magkakaroon tayo ng matibay na pundasyon at matibay na konklusyon sa pag-i-invest natin sa stock market. And also, sa pagre-review at pag-analyze ng stocks, malalaman natin dito kung ano yung intrinsic value ng company. Kasi hindi na tayo basta-basta bili ng stocks na gusto natin bilhin, but we buy at a low price of a company. And sabi nga ni Warren Buffett, price is what you pay, value is what you get. And most importantly, dapat naiintindihan mo kung ano yung kino-contribute ng company sa ekonomiya. Dapat naiintindihan mo yung vision, mission ng company and business model ng company. Okay? So, maraming salamat sa mga supporters natin dyan sa channel natin. As always, invest wisely and see you on the other side. Hello guys, maraming salamat sa panonood. Sana marami kayo natutunan sa video na to. So kung hindi pa kayo nakaka-subscribe, so please subscribe and hit the notification bell para updated kayo sa mga videos na parating at marami pa kayong matutunan sa channel na ito. So maraming salamat. This is PSE Warrior saying, trade well, trade strong, and trade smart.